We started in 2011 in this railway arch, and we discovered them because there was not anywhere else really to go in Hackney. Pete and I were both locals. We looked at various warehouses that were too small, not had the right power, didn't have the right water supply, didn't have the right drainage, until we came just randomly walked past these arches that were at the time were just derelict. There was nothing in them, and we just kind of thought, why don't we do it in a railway arch? Because that's what we wanted to be: local boys, local brewery, Hackney Brewery.
Our brewery is based here in Walworth in a double railway arch. We wanted to be fairly central in London, and there's a limited number of commercial properties that are not railway arches, and there was probably a little bit of associated cool about breweries being in railway arches that does no harm.
The requirements of a brewery being that you need light, medium industrial meant that this was kind of our only option.
We started brewing on a little 50-litre pilot brewery in my garden shed, basically, in Stoke Newington. We were basically brewing in the open air. We needed a space over winter just to kind of keep ourselves dry and warm. So we rented a little industrial unit in Stoke Newington, which was at that time under threat of development, so it was a temporary situation. We started looking around for a new place, and one of the first things we saw was this arch. You know, it was very straightforward, really. We just put in an offer, it was accepted, and we moved in.
And the main reason we moved into an arch in the first place was we had very close relationships with a number of people who were using railway arches just beside where our first site were. Mainly Neil's Yard Dairy, which is a cheese shop here in London, who I used to work for. They had a set of arches which they used for maturing their cheese and for wholesaling in offices. And they let us know that there was an arch coming up free just near to where they were. And that was the first step for us to be able to set up a bigger collective of like-minded food businesses, whole producers, maturers, working together. Because obviously you can do a lot more collectively than you can on your own.
I mean, difficulties-wise, the access here is not great. As you can see, there's lots of vans. I'm sitting on the one that's our neighbour's old wreck of a van that he's parked out here. You know, there's always stuff blocking the access routes. We're on a bit of a back road.
It's really difficult to get stuff in and out, so it's not ideal in that sense. There were quite a lot of leaks because it's where two lines meet, so that's why we've got quite a long depth to it. Felt like a bit of a shame to put the lining up and lose that sort of character that you sort of see out here that's kind of quite nice, but actually it wasn't very nice and it wouldn't have been very hygienic.
This arch is it was extended, so this front section here is it's like 5 metres or something, just added on to the front of the arches when they refurbished them. The mezzanine starts pretty much where the arch reaches the walls, and the headroom towards that space in the mezzanine you just can't use. Just use it as storage, push boxes in as far as they'll go. And yeah, other things, I don't know, drainage is always an issue. There's these floors slope back, so there's always sometimes there's a puddle if it rains quite heavily. I think what we're struggling with now is train.
We'll wait for this guy to go back. I think that the most immediate and obvious benefit of railway arches of this size is the thermal mass that the stone provides, which means that temperature fluctuations don't really happen. In summer, it's pretty cool in there, and in winter it's a bit warmer than outside. For us looking after beer, temperature fluctuations are very detrimental to a finished product beer, and also during fermentation, if you can keep things steady and under control, then you're winning. And that's most evident, say, in the barrel room that you saw at the back. You know, that's ambient temperature. That'll stay cool in cellar-like conditions all year round. So for some, you know, to be able to put beer in there, relax and leave it alone without having to do any messing with refrigeration or heating makes our lives a lot easier. You get used to working within the parameters you're given, I suppose.
Here in this arch is perfect for storing the casks because it's pretty cool all year round. It's about 13 degrees, so it's got a little chiller in there just to keep it within the tolerances, but it's ideal for storing beer, funnily enough. It's like a little cave.
It's a bit like a cave or a fridge. It's probably more like a fridge, I guess, because just with the white, the way they've kind of redeveloped it, it kind of reminds me of an interior of a fridge.
We are incredibly local to the city, so when we load up in the mornings for deliveries, it's literally vans up. The first drop's like 10 minutes later, or if that, it's just down the road. It's perfect location just to distribute, and our driver kind of goes out and comes back in again.
We opened the tap room in June of last year, so 2015, and just because people kept on coming by and seeing, like say asking if they could buy beer, so we thought, okay, fine, if that's what you'd like to do. And yeah, it was an absolute mess out here then. I mean, we did our best, but it's been a real constant project to try and sort of get it somewhere that's even approaching being like civilized. Like, people seem to like it. I guess it's quite surprising when you come in the entrance. It looks really grotty. It just looks like some seedy, like backwater industrial estate. And then you come back here, and you know, it's all right. It's quite nice.
Yeah, so we're in Walworth in South London. One of the good things about that is that we've been welcomed here by the neighbours. They're particularly happy that we have a modest tap room that we open most Saturdays. And they enjoy coming to have a beer, but of course they can do that in the pub. What they love about coming here is they feel connected to the brewery, they meet the brewers, they can have a look at where the beer is made, and it's, being a railway arch again, it's quite a cool space to hang out in.
About the sort of famous here in Ireland. I understood that you guys used to have a tap.
It led to the creation of a destination, which is kind of a wonderful example of how when people work together, again, you can become something much more than you are on your own. But that sort of capturing a destination, it took on a life of its own. And the sort of the zeitgeist, I suppose, that the people were very interested in beer and found that coming down and visiting 6 breweries on a Saturday afternoon good thing to do. The problem is that we're not set up for it. Part of the joy of us, selling our beer directly to people on a Saturday was to be able to talk, explain the beers, show people around the brewery, and have a relaxed and enjoyable time ourselves. And once it got into the rhythm of acting as a bar and serving people, it kind of removed the part of it that we enjoyed the most. So we closed down the tap room. We still serve bottles. We have a chance to talk to people. It's nice and calm.
I definitely feel like our brewery is part of the community of Herne Hill now, and we feel really like this is absolutely our home. So I don't want to move out of here.
We're at capacity basically. You know, which is a good thing for us. It's a nice place to be, you know, that we're selling, you know, the demand is there for the beer that we produce in. But as I say, we'd just like to kind of take it on to that next level, but it will happen, I'm sure. It's just being patient.
Currently have no plans to leave. It's perfect for where we are, the size we are, and the beers we make, and layout's pretty perfect for operational running, so storage in this arch, make all the beer in the brew house next arch.
We would very much like to stay in our double arch for practical reasons, and we feel really connected to it. Our plan in terms of expansion would be to get another railway arch. Indeed, the one next door is currently vacant, so Network Rail willing, that'll allow us to stay where we are, to continue to make beer in our chosen location, but have more space to make more beer, so that would be a great outcome.
We really like it here. The amount of work and effort you put into plugging in with your neighbours and your community is something that you build up that you want to last for a long time. We do so much with our neighbours here, and they're so much a part of our family that existing without them would really lessen what it means to be here, to brew, for us to come to work every morning.
A lot of people debate what defines craft beer. And I think one of the things is just that you can come and see where it's made, you can meet the actual people who make it, and you can drink the beer here. So I think that connection with source is something that's really valued by a lot of beer drinkers now.